Developing today, an extraordinary row has broken out between the two most famous women in Scotland, J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter author, and Lorraine Kelly, the undisputed star of daytime television for the past 3 decades. And of course, it's all over the issue of women's rights, specifically after an appearance made by the disgraced pop star Boy George on Lorraine Kelly's ITV show. Now, my friend John James summed this up very well by saying, Boy George claims kids are trans if they inform their parents and display different behaviour by not acting like a little girl should, while branding J.K. Rowling a muggle. Meanwhile, Lorraine laughs at the idea of single-sex spaces. Why does it boil down to toilets? Now, I'm going to show you how J.K. Rowling has responded to Lorraine. It's tough. She's always tough. She's taking the piss a little bit out of Lorraine's attitude as well. Then we'll get reaction from Connor Tomlinson of Tomlinson Talks. But first, I want to show you this interview between Lorraine Kelly and Boy George because I think it's just so frustrating to hear Lorraine, a woman who should be there as a feminist standing up for female rights, and yet playing so dumb on the most important issue of our times. Watch. Can you believe that more than half of you are watching this video but not subscribed? So please do me a huge favor, click the subscribe button now, turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to all of our brand new Outspoken videos.
What I love about you over the years is you've always stood up for people who sometimes don't have a voice for themselves. And as we know, and we've talked about it in this show a lot, and people in the trans community have been, crikey, it's been very tough for them. And you've actually said, no, this isn't fair. You've been good like that, and you've always been good like that.
When I was a kid, when I was 7, it was obvious to everyone that I was gay. Obviously, I didn't know what it was, and parents often know, but they don't say anything because they think if I don't talk about it, it will go away. Usually with trans kids, it's the kid that informs the adult.
Right.
Through different behaviour, the little girls are not acting like a little girl should, little boys doing this, that and the other. So usually it's the kid that informs the adults. And this idea that a parent pushes their kid to be trans is so ridiculous. I mean, I've got friends who've got kids that are trans, and it's a nightmare. Yeah. And they struggle, should I do the right thing? Should I wait till the kid is 18 or 21? All of that stuff is, it's real life stuff.
Yeah.
It's not two celebrities bickering on the internet.
No, because I know you have had a row with J.K. Rowling. A lot of people have. And I mean, they absolutely have. But
I think it's hilarious
really
that you're having a row with someone I've never met.
Yeah, no.
Probably never will meet.
No.
And
But that's what happens on the internet.
In the movies, she creates this beautiful, magical world.
Yeah.
And in real life, she's a muggle. So it's very disappointing to find out that actually, in a way, it's not true.
Do you think that we will ever get to a case where I would love to be, where it really, really doesn't matter?
I think
and we
for
just let people go on with their lives?
Most people, it doesn't matter.
I know.
It matters only whether you're a nice person or a horrible person.
Exactly.
And, nobody chooses to be trans or gay. No one chooses to have blue eyes. It just happens,
Yeah.
And it's just, sad that somebody who's so creative... I love the movies. I mean, the movies are brilliant.
The movies are
I bet she's watching now. Morning.
Maybe she is, maybe she
Get over it.
I know. I just find it really, having friends who are trans and who are going through a really tough time, it's just like, let's be fair about stuff. Let's be fair. Let's talk and we can all have our points of view. But at the end of the day, we're all just people blundering through and trying to get on with our lives.
But also, no one goes into the loo to hang out. It's a horrible place. Smelly, stinky, horrible place. No one goes in there to hang out. They're going in there.
It always comes down to toilets, doesn't it? It's like halfway. It always comes down to toilets, and I don't quite know why.
Well, of course it does. And I'll tell you why, Lorraine. And there's a couple of things that both Lorraine and Boy George have got wrong in that conversation. The reason it comes down to toilets is because women have to be protected. Your daughter has to be protected. Your granddaughter has to be protected in the future. And unfortunately, there are so many cases of men targeting women when single-sex spaces are not available. So that's why that is important. Then, and this one really gets me, Boy George, you're completely missing the point. And remember, I say this as a fellow gay man. If you had been an effeminate 7-year-old today, not when you were growing up, Boy George, as a young gay boy, it is highly likely that there would have been people in your world, in your life, including teachers, who were trying to convince your parents that you were not a little gay boy, but that you were indeed a little girl and that you were trans. And it happens especially for young lesbian females. This isn't something in my head. This is something that has been backed up time and again by shocking statistics. Now, J.K. Rowling did respond to Lorraine, writing, "Why does it boil down to toilets? Tee-hee-hee. It doesn't, Lorraine. It boils down to intact male rapists in female prisons, men using supposedly female-only rape crisis centres, the decimation of women's sports, and the authoritarian attacks on freedom of speech and belief." And she said, it is such disingenuous bullshit, prompting Dennis Noel Kavanagh to write, "It's a subterfuge, a foot in the toilet stall door, a foot in the toilet stall door, a way of saying this is silly and trivial, so George himself, a gender non-conforming bloke, can say without any criticism that gender non-conforming children born 50 years after him need hormones and surgeries. It's appalling." JK then replied, "My favourite part is how a man," and she's referring to Boy George here, "who went to prison for tying up a fellow human being and whipping them with a chain is someone who always speaks up for those without a voice." Now, Boy George saw that, and listen to what he said. This is what he said to J.K. Rowling. Says the Botox-ridden witch, "Get on your broomstick." I think Jack David on X summed up the situation well by posting, "What I love about you over the years is you've always stood up for people who sometimes don't have a voice for themselves," she says to a convicted criminal who falsely imprisoned a lad handcuffed to him to a wall and beaten with a chain. And of course, by the way, that person who was beaten up was a male escort in Boy George's house. So, Connor Tomlinson, this is never easy for me, right? I worked with Lorraine Kelly for 10 years and we were incredibly close. It's not easy for me, but I don't shy away from covering these stories because I just feel like, I know Boy George too, actually, know Boy George too, but it's like this denial of scientific reality, this denial of statistics, because they think they're being kind, when actually what they're being is homophobic, right? Anti-young gay kids, anti-young lesbian girls. It just chills me.
Well, these are the types of people that will waffle on endlessly about toxic masculinity, Dan, but when the pathological compassion that Lorraine Kelly purports to have in buckets leads her to lie to children, encourage them to go down the path of irreversible chemical castration and surgical mutilation procedures, and then keep affirming that lie until their suicidality increases to the point where they kill themselves at vast numbers higher than the gender normal population. What is that if not toxic femininity? And I wanted to go through a couple of points because George made a series of errors, willful errors, I think, in that interview. First of all, the exponential rise in identification among adolescent girls, I think it's 4,500% up from before 2014 to around 2022 when Tavistock closed down. Yeah, that's not a natural phenomena because, of course, the premise is if you don't affirm trans kids, of which there is no such thing, they will immediately commit suicide. It's that moral blackmail that was told to parents. Would you rather have a trans kid or a dead kid? Well, why isn't there just an unbroken chain of child and adolescent suicides at exponential rates stretching back through history until suddenly gender identity comes on the scene with the advent of Tumblr and social media and rates of trans identification explode? Also, the idea that nobody is pushing their own child to be trans, actually they are. The phrase is Munchausen by proxy syndrome, and it turns out to have been invented. Well, I don't know if you know this, Sam. The term was invented by John Money, the same guy who popularized gender identity as a term. And in a study in the 90s, and this was before trans identification exploded, especially among adolescent girls, but the boys of gender non-conforming mothers, 50% of them had a diagnosed depressive or borderline personality disorder. So they are inflicting their mental maladies onto their own children. The most interesting part I thought about this was when he thinks using the Harry Potter films are an insult to J.K. Rowling. You know, oh, she makes all this movie magic and in real life she's a muggle. It's like, Right. Well, thank you for admitting that you want people to believe in a delusion. You want to live in a fiction. You want to lie to children. Because what you're citing here is a kind of outrage that you cannot be allowed to tell yourself a kind of magic spell that allows you to change your gender and sex by thought. Yeah, George, turns out that denying reality has consequences. And you can run around with your eyes shut all you like. But when you run smack bang into a wall, don't come crying to me. And if you're going to tell children that walls don't exist, run around. And if you get hurt, well, just keep running at that wall. Then I think you're reprehensible.
But first, you know how often I talk about the need for free speech to be protected, but I've been increasingly thinking of the need too for personal protection from snoopers, from bad actors, from hackers, all online. And I'm delighted to tell you I've found the fail-safe solution. And this virtual private network, or VPN, is a life changer when it comes to providing you entertainment and information from anywhere in the world, wherever you are. So I want to introduce you to Surfshark, an incredible, easy-to-use service that encrypts all your internet traffic, meaning your online activities stay safe so you can shop, you can stream, you can browse, you can conduct your banking in complete privacy online. But the benefits of Surfshark go way beyond keeping you safe. It also allows you to access your favorite entertainment and news shows and international streaming services like Hulu, iPlayer, HBO Max, Peacock, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, and if your favorite shows are geo-blocked, within seconds you can be watching as if you're in another country. Really helpful, by the way, for traveling for work or on holiday. I did this recently when I went to Barbados. I could still get all of my favorite content from home using Surfshark, including sports. Plus, it's an insurance policy against creeping censorship in so many countries which do block particular services like Rumble, for example. What Surfshark allows you to do is watch anything, anytime, anywhere. True freedom. Plus, and I didn't know this, a VPN can save you money, because you can get the best deals from websites that actually change their prices depending on which part of the world you are buying from. You can use Surfshark on unlimited devices, meaning your entire household can stay safe with just one subscription. And there are over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries, meaning a world of choice is at your fingertips with 24/7 customer service if this is your first time using a VPN. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. And this is super important. Surfshark is so confident that it is the best VPN in the world that you can give it a try for a full 30 days. And if you're not entirely satisfied, you will get your money back. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken right now for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. But now, back to the show. Oh, indeed. We actually spoke about John Money, I think, on the show earlier in the week. And yeah, it's very, very disturbing stuff. It's become so trendy, though, Connor, in the music industry now, or in the entertainment industry, full stop, to just turn on J.K. Rowling. The latest to do so is a pop star called Kate Nash. I actually used to really like her music. She was never critically acclaimed, but I always thought she was quite good, right? But I just want to show you this little interview with ITV News, and also Connor, just look at the dude from woke ITV News interviewing her. No idea who this guy's name is. He's interviewed Nigel Farage recently, but I just think, get a real haircut. And I know some people call me an old fogey for saying that, but look at this.
All the women's rights activists like J.K. Rowling, who says this was a win for women.
Well, I don't think J.K. Rowling really has a leg to stand on, because if you look at her Twitter and the way that she talks to people, she's a bully. She's extremely rude. She's extremely crass. She's dragged cis women into some kind of like trans feminist debate that aren't even trans, and like it doesn't do anything to support or help women when you constantly try to define them, and transphobia is not feminism.
So Kate Nash using the B word, using the bully word, Connor.
It's exhausting, but this is the reason they need to amplify these increasingly irrelevant ideological so-called celebrities is because the general public recognizes biological reality. Like this is a winning issue for President Trump in the last election. His most popular ad was Kamala Harris is for they them, Trump is for you. If similar positions were put forward by politicians who have stood up to this sort of stuff, then they would win lots of public support, because you cannot get people to try to lie to themselves. It does not go over well. You even need draconian levels of state enforcement, as was seen in the Soviet Union, or you're ideological project is going to run aground on the rocks of reality, because people are just going to go, yeah, I know you're lying to me, so I don't trust you on this issue, and therefore I don't trust you on any other issue. And this is why so much attention is paid to this, and this is why J.K. Rowling has become a hate figure, sort of Emmanuel Goldstein, if you will, from 1984. It's because she's seen as a class traitor. She shaped the childhoods of a lot of these people. She allowed them to engage in magical thinking. She's the patron saint of woke millennials, and now she's stepped off the reservation, and so they have to turn her into a witch and keep ducking her until she admits her fault, and then they'll probably sacrifice her anyway. I don't think she's going to back down. Again, don't think J.K. Rowling agrees with either of us on a whole awful lot, unless she's reassessed most of her political priors that brought her into coalition with these rabid ideologues in the first place. But I do commend her on standing fast on this issue, because she's mind-swept a lot of rhetorical room for other people to come forward, say obviously sensible things, and ensure that kids are protected.
Connor, I just wanted to end the week with a celebrity who I do actually still have respect for. I think he's great, Robbie Williams, because he went out with his wife, Ada Field, in Amsterdam and conducted a little social experiment, and it's brilliant. So the background to this is that Robbie Williams has been very brutally honest in the past about the fact that he really struggles sometimes with people who come up and ask him for photos. He's got a whole load of documented mental health issues, right? And he when you read him on this, you actually really understand where he's coming from, because he's so genuine about it, in terms of he's not saying, oh my God, I'm not going to take a photo with you, or this is terrible, people bother me. He's like trying to explain, this is why it impacts me so deeply psychologically, because I'm not totally together psychologically. Anyway, so he went out with his wife, Ada Field, in Amsterdam and turned the tables on unsuspecting members of the public. It's great.
Okay, so what's the plan, Williams?
Well, the plan is to get the camera on me. I'm going to ask people if they'll have a picture with me. I'm just going to walk up to random people and go, will you have a picture taken with me?
Okay, and I'm going to film.
You're going to film, but you've got to do it like, just hold it there.
Okay, okay.
Nonchalantly.
Okay.
Excuse me. Can I have a picture taken with you?
A picture with me? Why? Why?
Just want my picture taken with you.
Oh, I'll do it.
But why?
Can I have my picture taken with you?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Where are you from? There we go.
Thank you.
Picture taken with you. Can I? Thank you. Valencia.
Thank you. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you gonna go?
Guys, can I have my picture taken with you? Is that okay? Thank you.
Yeah, do you want to go
And
then?
go. Ladies, is there any chance I can have a picture taken with you? Is that okay?
Have you already got nice?
Can I have my picture taken with you? Is that okay?
Oh, that's Robbie Williams.
Ready? Guys, can I have my picture taken with you? Is that okay? Is that okay? Thank you.
You get genuinely confused by that. That's the look. It's the look of.
That's the look we wanted.
That's the look you wanted.
Just great, isn't it, Connor Tomlinson? Because in such a nice way, he does just make a point. It's an odd thing. It's just an odd thing. And you're asking me to do this odd thing every moment of my life, but he does it in such a kind way.
Yeah, I'm sure you get something similar in London when you do venture in, Dan. I've been, or especially at a political event, I still find it weird that people have asked me for photos, because I'm thinking, like, who are you going to show this to? They're going to think you're very sad. But I can't imagine the volume that he must get. And
yeah, he says it's just constant, right? So wherever he is, wherever he goes, and even, you know, when he's in his deepest, darkest moments, it still happens, and he's spoken about it happening, you know, in planes and doctors' surgeries and all of that.
Yeah, I had a weird one where a couple of years ago now, and I was meeting my best friend. He's my best man for my wedding, and we were both commiserating over a breakup that had happened for both of us, for our respective misses, on the same week. And it was in a Wetherspoons in London, and some sort of 18-year-old kid came over and sort of hovered near the table and just looked, and he was like, "You all right, mate?" And he was like, "Yeah. Do you want something?" "Yeah, you Connor?" I was like, "Yeah. Can I get a photo?" And my friend, who had known me since university, had to take it, and he just looked at me like I was from the planet Zog. And I think what you often feel is, no matter what moment you're in, you feel a need to ensure that the person who has expectations of you has a good time. So I can understand how that can be a sort of crushing weight for him, and I'm glad he can make light of it.
Yeah, and he actually says, don't not ask me for pictures, just like, if you really want it, still ask. By the way, I'm like, definitely ask me. I love it. You make my day. But Connor, you've mentioned your wedding. I didn't know. Is this public? What can you tell us?
It's tomorrow, so I am. as you can imagine, it's been a stressful few weeks now. So
I
people
can't
have
believe
noticed
you're
I've looked a bit
here
tired.
today. But this is good. A good distraction technique, maybe.
Yeah, quite. I will be at a rehearsal the night before, so it's going to be a sweltering hot day tomorrow, and I'm paying for everyone else to get mightily drunk. So I'm going to recover
because you don't drink,
from my
do
bruised
you?
bank account.
You don't drink.
No, I haven't for quite some time though. That level of socialising. Who knows? I might need to get through it.
Oh my goodness! Yes, 28 degrees tomorrow. Are you gonna be posting pictures, Connor? Because we want to see. We want to see.
Maybe one or two,
Okay,
though. My missus is not in the public eye. She is one of many Twitter anons, and so we like to keep separate spheres going. But I'm sure she'll want me to brag.
Okay, well, when you're next on, maybe you could bring like a couple, even if it's just you and your best man. We'd love to see them.
The guest list is going to be fun. There will be some of the Lotus Eaters there. There'll be some, people political. So yeah, it'll be basically one big far right gathering. So I'll look for the person that sort of slips out right during the reception, and I'll know that's the hope, not hate plot.
Oh my God! Well, good luck. Good luck. I cannot wait to see the pictures. You deserve to have the absolute best day tomorrow, and I hope it goes smoothly without any of the tackiness of a certain other wedding which is going on. You know what I'm talking about? Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez.
Oh yeah, I thought you were just referring to Harry and Meghan as per Dan, and let's hope mine doesn't end up like that.
No. You've actually chosen the same day for your wedding, I think, as Lauren Sanchez, and there they are. But they're doing the very gauche thing in Venice at the moment. But we are actually talking about it. Connor, thank you. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.